welcome to this fluid yoga session. If you would like, you can go ahead and come into a comfortable sitting position. If sitting on the floor is awkward for you or feels uncomfortable, feel free to grab a pillow or a blanket or something that you can sit up on. Then, once you feel relatively comfortable, you can just sway a little side to side here. You can circle around through the hips. You can change the direction of the hip circles. And then you can come back to swaying a little side to side, eventually letting your hips unravel into a place that feels balanced between the right and the left side. Once you find this spot, go ahead, rest your hands on your knees, and you can inhale and arch the back a little bit, feeling the hips tilting back, the tailbone sticking out, and exhale and tilt the hips under, tucking the tailbone under. Inhale, a little bit of an arch here, maybe head and neck lifts up a little. Exhale and looking at the navel. Inhale, a bit of an arch, and exhale, a little bit of rounding. And then from here, try to come to a place where the weight is towards the middle front half of your hips. There's the rigid bones you might have felt as you're moving back and forth at the base of the hips, the sits bones, and the weight balanced a little bit forward on the sits bones. And then here, just soften or close your eyes, connecting down through the hips and the legs, and turn inside, coming into the flow of the breath. Feeling the air on the nostrils, the air moving through the windpipes, and the lungs expanding out on the inhales and softening back in on the exhales. And then from here, take a deep, full breath in and exhaling out. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale. One more. Inhale. And then maybe keeping that slight constriction of the throat that you did to do the ha sound as you keep your eyes soft and closed and keep the breath full and deep. If you do choose to keep that slight constriction of the throat, you might notice your breath becomes audible, it becomes whispery. There's a sound associated with it. This is Ujjayi breathing, breathing with that slight constriction of the throat. So let your breath be nice and full and deep, balancing out the inhales and exhales if that feels comfortable for you. And then just settle into the flow of the breath. Settle in and feel the breath moving through you, and let the breath move you. Throughout class, you'll be guided by the flow of the breath. And also, just let yourself feel what you feel, physically, mentally, emotionally. And let yourself be informed by that. So feel free to modify, adjust, and adapt the practice as needed. Breathe. We will go ahead and we'll start with an Om. If you'd like to join in, hands can come together in front of the heart. I'll exhale, inhale, and then Om. So exhale in. Inhale deeply. Take a deep, full breath in. And then exhale, releasing your hands. Softly open the eyes if they're closed. And then as you're ready, you can transition to all fours on the mat, coming to your hands and knees. If you need another extra cushion for your knees, feel free to, again, have a pillow, a blanket, something just a little cushioning, and to put that underneath your knees. Spreading the fingers nice and wide apart. Actually, I take that back. For today, let's try coming into fists first, as long as that doesn't bother you. If that does, palms can be flat. And then with your hands in a fist, inhale and lengthen the spine nice and long. Exhale and round the back and look at your navel here. And then inhale, arch the back, head and tailbone up to the sky. So coming back into this form where you're rounding and arching the back, this time making sure the movement is linked to the breath, so the rhythm of the movement matches that of the breath. It's led by the breath. And maybe because of the form you're in, maybe you can round and arch a little bit further. Maybe not though. Just feel how this feels as you move back and forth. Your spine, your shoulders, your neck, your wrists. Then with your next inhale, come to a nice neutral spine. Exhale, go ahead now, bring the palms flat if they're not already. Line the lines of the wrists up with the front of the mat and let your hips sink back toward your feet a little bit, as though you're coming into a child's pose. From here, inhale and lift your wrists up. You can keep your fingers down if you want to. Exhale and lower back down. Or inhale, lift the wrists up and coming to fingertips. Either way is fine. Exhale and lower back down. Inhale, lift the wrists up. And with the wrists lifting up, go ahead and see what it feels like to shift the shoulders forward over towards the wrists. Stopping whenever your body says to stop. And then exhale, go ahead and bring the palms back down to the ground, but act as though you're going to lift the wrists up. Inhale, stretch your spine nice and long. Exhale, downward facing dog, keeping that length in the spine. Lift the knees up, stretch the hips back. You can go ahead and bend one knee, straightening out to the opposite leg, and then switching sides. Just noticing how the back of your legs feel. If you want to, you can come back to center here with the knees bent, really stretching along through the spine, and just sway your hips a little side to side. And then letting the hips come back into center. Look forward at your hands. Walk your feet towards your hands or your hands towards your feet. The knees can stay nicely bent here. And when you're ready, feet a comfortable distance width apart. Inhale, hands up to the knees. Stretch your spine long. Exhale and fold in, gently rounding. If you want to, when the hands come up to your knees, you can even arch the back a little bit here. And then exhale, just pour the spine back over the legs. Inhale and lengthening or arching. And exhale and fold. Inhale, lengthening or arching. And then exhale, press down through the feet. Come all the way up to standing. From here, go ahead, if you have a blanket or a pillow, move it over to the side. And then come to standing near the front of your mat. Take a moment, look at your knees, your toes, knees facing forward, second, third toes face generally forward too. Feet a comfortable width distance apart. And then shift the weight forward and back in your feet. Eventually coming to a place where the weight feels pretty balanced between the front and the back of your feet. Lift your toes up and wiggle them a bit. Then, with your next inhale, lift all 10 toes up. Feel the arches of your feet lifting up with your toes and root down through any part of your foot that's not your toes and your arches right now. If your toes will move, spread your toes apart, letting them open up, and then keep pulling up through those arches, but pressing the toes down into the ground. So the toes come back to the earth, and you actually press down through the toes a bit as well. Then take a moment here, rising up to your knees, let your knee joints be soft. Come up to your hips, let your hips be settled back over your heels, and feel the muscles of the hips and the pelvic floor engaged. Moving up to the core. The core is nice and engaged, low ribs hugging in a bit here. Hands together in front of the heart, shoulders gently towards each other on the back, and head balanced right above the neck and the spine. Feel the breath moving through you, maybe that ujjayi breathing, that slight constriction of the throat so the breath becomes audible. And then when you're ready, exhale, release the hands to the side. Inhale, arms come wide and reach up high. Exhale, lower the arms back down to the sides. Inhale, as the arms come wide, reach up high, but feels okay for your neck. Maybe look up at your thumbs. Exhale, go ahead, following the gaze with your hands, lower down, or following the hands with your gaze. Inhale, arms come wide, reach up high, maybe looking up. Exhale, looking at the thumbs, and you follow the hands back down. Inhale, arms come wide, reach up high. Exhale, following the thumbs as they come back down. Inhale, arms come wide, reach up high. Left hand grabs right wrist. Exhale, leaning over to your left. Inhale, up to center. Right hand, left wrist. Exhale to your right. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, up to center. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart, shoulders together on the back. Feel the breath moving through you. Then exhale, release the hands. Inhale, knees as wide apart as your feet. Act like you're sitting back in a chair. Exhale, back up to standing. Inhale, Utkatasana. Arms only lift up as much as comfortable for your shoulders. Exhale, back up to standing. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, folding forward. Hands to legs, blocks if you have them. That's also another good place. Or the floor. If it works for you, you can come up to your fingertips and act like you're going to hug those fingers pads in towards each other, engaging the muscles of the palm. And then from here, inhale and lifting the back of the hips up to straighten the legs, only as much as feels comfortable for you. Exhale, bend your knees, knees as wide apart as your feet. Inhale, lifting the back of your hips up. Exhale and bend your knees. Inhale, straightening the legs, but only as much as feels good for you. Exhale, holding here. And then inhale, slide your hands up the legs, stretching the spine nice and long. Exhale and fold. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale, fold. You could also inhale and lengthen to blocks if you prefer that. Exhale and fold. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale, holding here. And then press down through the feet. Inhale, arms come wide, reach all the way up toward the sky. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Feel the breath moving through you. Inhale, arms come wide, reach up high. Exhale, fold, hands to the legs, blocks or floor. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale, arms come wide, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Inhale, arms come wide, reach up high. Exhale and fold. Inhale and lengthen. Again, you can still use legs. Exhale and fold. Inhale, arms come wide, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Inhale, arms come wide, reach up high. Exhale and fold. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale, arms come wide, reach all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Feel the breath moving through you. And then from here, exhale, release the hands to the side. Inhale, bend your knees, Utkatasana, shift your weight into your right foot, and take a good size step back with your left foot. Your back heel can be lifted or down, whichever feels better for you. And lower the hands to the right knee. Take a moment here, right knee right on top of the ankle, tracking towards the second or third toe. Press down through your feet, hug into your hips. And then here, exhale, go ahead and bend that left knee, lowering it towards the ground. Inhale and straighten. Exhale and bend. Inhale and straighten. Exhale and bend. Inhale and straighten. Then hugging in from the feet to the hips, press strongly down to that right foot. You can use your hands and step the left foot forward. Hands together in front of the heart, shoulders together on the back. Feel the breath. Exhale, release the hands. Inhale, Utkatasana. Shift your weight over into your left foot, or right foot goes back. Hands to that left knee. And then as you're ready, exhale and bend. Inhale and straighten. Exhale and bend. Inhale and straighten. Exhale and bend. Inhale and straighten. Pressing strongly down to the left knee, to the left foot. And then when you're ready, step the right foot forward. Hands together in front of the heart, shoulders together on the back. Feel the breath. Exhale, release the hands to the sides. Inhale, arms come wide and reach up high. Exhale and fold. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Bend the knees deeply, make your way back into a downward facing dog. Bending and straightening the legs, maybe moving the hips a little side to side here. And then exhale, coming down to all fours, coming to your hands and knees. Feel free to pad up your knees, coming into fists if that works for you. And the left fist, we're going to turn it so the palm is facing back towards our knees. And then from here, I want you just to kind of gently circle around to the wrists, not going to any particular extreme, changing the direction of the circles, maybe rolling a little bit towards the back of your hand, just seeing what that feels like for you. And then we'll do the second side. So turning the right palm in towards your body, And just gently circling around to the hips, wrists. You don't even have to keep a tight fist. It can be loose. And then just seeing how it feels to take the back of your hand towards the ground a bit here. And then exhale, go ahead and release and come into a child's pose. Feet together, knees apart, hips back towards your heels, head towards the ground. Breathe. Nice full deep breaths. When you feel ready, slide your way forward onto your belly. Hands to either side of your chest, underneath your biceps or back underneath your elbows. Press down through the hips. Keep your belly on the ground, lifting up maybe through the chest and the shoulders. Feel the shoulders gently on the back and then swaying a little side to side here. Stretching long through the legs and if possible, holding the hips somewhat in place. They can move a little bit, but you're trying to move more through the upper torso. Come back to center here, and then just stretching the chest forward, pressing the toes down, lengthening back through the legs with the knees facing down. Then exhale, lower all the way back down, and come into a child's pose. Breathe. Inhale up to all fours. Again, feel free to put a blanket pillow underneath your knees. Exhale, round the back, look at your navel. Inhale, arch your back, head and tailbone up to the sky. Exhale and round. And then inhale, stretch the spine long, lifting the right leg up, back behind you. Exhale, right knee into the nose, rounding the back. Inhale, right leg stretches long. Exhale, right knee towards your right armpit or nose. Inhale, right leg stretches long. Exhale, step the right foot forward outside your right hand. So if you don't quite make it all the way forward, grab the foot, slide, wiggle, scoop. Both hands inside the right leg. Back foot can be flexed or pointed. Walk your hands a little bit in front of the shoulders. Then inhale, stretch the spine long. Feel your armpits and your chest lengthening forward. Feel the outer right hip stretching back. And when you're comfortable, if you want to, you can sway the hips a bit side to side here. And then come back to center, pressing the right knee to the right. Walk your hands maybe a bit in front of the shoulders and a bit over to the left side. Act like you're doing a downward facing dog. Press the hips up, back away from the hands, breathing here. And again, feel free to stay in the spot. Or if you would like to, you can walk your hands back over to the right and just see where you end up here. Breathe. And then making your way back to center and step the right foot back, all fours. Exhale, round the back, look at your navel. Inhale, stretch your spine long, left leg lifts. Exhale, left knee in towards the nose, rounding the back. Inhale, stretching that left leg nice and long. Exhale, left knee towards the left armpit. Inhale, open up. And exhale, stepping the left foot forward outside your hands. Now, if that felt a bit uncomfortable for you, you can grab something to put underneath your hands and come up higher like blocks. Still a little bit in front of the shoulders to start with. Stretch your outer hip, left hip back. Stretch your armpits forward and swaying side to side here. And then you can go ahead, press the left knee to the left, walk your hands over to the right, lengthening here. Feel that breath moving through you. And then go ahead and walk your hands back over to the left. And again, just seeing where you end up. Nice full deep breaths. And then inhale, make your way back to center and step the left foot back. As you're ready, downward facing dog. Lift the knees up, stretch the hips back, lengthening through the spine. And then look forward at your hands, bend the knees, walk your feet towards your hands or your hands towards the feet. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale, arms come wide, reach all the way up toward the sky. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Feel the breath moving through you. Inhale, arms come wide and reach up high. Exhale and fold. Legs bent or straight, hands to legs, blocks or floor. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Bend your knees deeply, hands to the ground. Inhale, back to a downward facing dog. Exhale, shoulders forward over the wrist, plank pose. You might have to wiggle the hands and feet a little bit further away from each other. Inhale, the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Trying to keep the hands and feet this new distance width apart. Seeing if that gives you more space to lengthen the low back out in two. And then exhale, go ahead, come back into plank and lower the knees down. So your knees are a little bit back behind your hips. Point your toes. Inhale, slide the hips forward. Let the shoulders roll onto the back, chest leads the way. Exhale, hips back towards your feet. Inhale, slide your hips forward, only as much as feels good for your low back though. And then exhale, hips back towards feet. Inhale, chest slides forward, shoulders on the back. Exhale, bend your elbows, lower all the way down to the ground here. And then from here, staying low, hips and belly on the ground, lifting up through the chest and shoulders. Start to sway a little side to side. This time your hips might move more than they were earlier. And then the next time you come over onto your left side, lift the right leg up, stretch it long, and then exhale back to center. Inhale, right side, stretching out to that leg. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, left side, back to center. Inhale, right side. Exhale, center. Inhale, left side. Exhale, center. One more time. Inhale, right side. Exhale, center and center. Root the hips down, knees face down. Stretch long through the legs, just lifting up through the chest and the shoulders, breathing here. And then exhale, lower all the way down and come back into a child's pose. Nice, full, deep breaths. Inhale, up to all fours. Exhale, nice long spine, downward facing dog. Feel the breath moving through you. Look forward at your hands, bend the knees, walk the feet towards the hands. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale, arms come wide, reach all the way up towards the sky. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Staying connected to the breath. Feel the earth underneath you. And as you're ready, exhale, release the hands to the sides. Inhale, arms come wide and reach up high. Exhale and fold. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Bend the knees, hands on the ground, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, shoulders forward over the wrist, plank pose. Exhale, lower the knees and bend them, knees a little bit back behind the hips. Inhale, engage the core, stretch your sternum a little bit forward and feel the bottom tips of your shoulder blades towards each other on the back. Exhale, with the elbows pointing towards the back of the room, go ahead and bend them maybe just an inch or two, and then inhale and straighten. Exhale, bend the elbows. The most you want to go is shoulders level to elbows. Inhale and straighten. Exhale and bend. Inhale and straighten. And then with control, lowering all the way down, keeping the shoulders a little bit lifted, and then straightening the legs. So you're back in this low cobra we've been doing. Press down through the hips, lengthen through the feet with the toes on the ground. If you want to this time, acting like you're dragging the hands back, inhale and lifting up a little bit higher through the chest. Exhale and lower back down. Inhale and float up. Exhale and lower back down. Inhale and lift up. Trying to keep the shoulders gently towards each other on the back. Heart, chest leads the way. Exhale, lower all the way back down. Rest your head on the hands and gently rock the hips a little side to side. Unwinding into center with the hips here. Prop yourself up on your elbows. And then when you're ready, we're going to cross the right arm in front of us. Roll all the way onto the right side, keeping this right shoulder blade on the back. Bend the left knee, reaching back for the left foot, and then stretch the left knee back for the back of the mat. Breathing here. And then exhale, go ahead and release. And second side, left arm crosses in front, rolling over onto the left side, bend the right knee, reach back for that foot, and then stretching the right knee back for the back of the mat. Breathe. exhale, go ahead and release and come back into a child's pose. Nice full deep breaths. When you're ready, inhale up to all fours. Feel free again to slide some padding underneath the knees whenever you need to. And then from here, lines of the wrist straight across, weight in the front of the hands. Exhale, round the back, look at your navel. Inhale, stretch that right leg up, back behind you. Exhale, right knee in towards the nose. Inhale, right leg stretches back behind you. Exhale, right knee towards your left armpit. Inhale, right leg stretches back behind you. And then exhale, step the right foot forward towards your right thumb. And again, if you need to grab the foot and slide, wiggle, scoot, do so. When you feel ready, walk your hands up to the right knee. And then exhale, engage your core, lifting the belly up. Right thumb comes to the outer right hip, pressing the hip down. Inhale, left arm lifts up to the sky, getting length. And then exhale, the left arm crosses over the right leg. If you can, you'll bend the left elbow and try to work the left elbow across the leg. And then from here, you can stay here, lengthening the spine, coming into the twist. Now you can take the left hand to the right shoulder and gently roll it onto the back, breathe. Or you can take your hands into a prayer position. Nice, full, deep breaths. And then exhale, go ahead, unwind. Step the right foot back, all fours. Inhale, the left leg lifts up, back behind you. Exhale, left knee in toward the nose. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, left knee towards the right armpit. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, left foot forward between the hands, sliding, wiggle, scooting. When you're ready, hands up to the left knee. Exhale, engage the core, lifting up. And then left thumb to the outer left hip. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, the right arm crosses over, maybe the right elbow, and then pressing your elbow and your left leg in toward each other, twisting. You can also use this right hand to roll the left shoulder onto the back, and then from here, stacking hands if you want to. Gaze can be anywhere that's comfortable. Looking down is usually easier for balance. Looking up is usually the traditional position, but make sure your head and neck is in line with the rest of the spine. And then exhale, go ahead, unwind, step the left foot back. Child's pose, breathe. Inhale up to all fours. You can slide any pattern over to the side. And then when you are ready, exhale, downward facing dog. Looking at your hands, bend the knees, walk the feet towards the hands or the hands towards the feet. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale, long spine, arms come wide, reach all the way up toward the sky. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Inhale, open your arms into a cactus position. Elbows a little in front of the shoulders, and then hugging the bottom tips of your shoulders towards each other on the back. Standing up nice and tall, rooting from the hips down into the feet. Feeling that lightness to the arches, muscles of the pelvic floor engaged, core engaged. And then you're going to start to tip your elbows forward and let the bottom tips of the shoulder blades curl onto your back and tilt your chest a little bit up to the sky. Standing back bend, breathing here. Nice, full, deep breaths. And then inhale, come back up. Shift your weight into your left foot, come to your right toes. And if you would like to, lifting that right foot up off the ground. It helps to have a point to stare at, a spotting point. And then exhale, lower the right foot down, shift your weight into the right leg, come to the left toes. And lifting that left foot up. Breathe. When you're ready, go ahead and release. Hands together in front of the heart, shoulders together on the back. Shift your weight into your left foot again. Come to your right toes. Open the right knee to the right. Feel free to keep the right toes on the ground for tree or to lift that right foot up. If you would like to, you can reach down, grab the right foot, and lift it up higher towards the right inner thigh. Breathing here. And then exhale, go ahead and release. Shift your weight into your right foot. Come to your left toes. Left knee rotates out. Left hip rotates out. Then when you're ready, if you want to, you can lift the toe up off the ground. If you would like, you can grab the foot and lift it up higher. If your foot is not on your knee, if it's below or above the knee, then hug the right leg and the left leg in towards each other as you hold the pose. Breathe. Go ahead, release, shake it out. Open your legs facing wide, facing the side. Take a moment, line your feet up with each other here, knees facing forward, second, third toes facing forward here. Think like Tadasana, press down through your feet, hug into your hips, and then when you're ready, we'll turn the left toes towards the right a little bit, the right toes all the way out to the right, and then open the arms into a T, bottom tips of the shoulders gently hugging in. Look down at your right knee, spin it towards your second or third toe. Exhale and bend, and inhale and straighten. Exhale and bend, inhale and straighten. Exhale and bend. Lower the right elbow to the right leg. Feel both shoulders rolling towards each other on the back. And then inhale if you want to. Left arm can lift up by the ear. Exhale, left arm can lower back to the left hip. Inhale, left arm can lift up. Exhale, left arm can lower. Inhale, left arm can looking up at the sky if that feels comfortable for you. Parsvakonasana, side angle pose, breathing here. Staying nice and firm through the legs, press down through the feet, rise up through the torso, looking over the right fingers, Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Then exhale, go ahead, release, soften the left knee. Right toes turn in towards the left. Left toes turn all the way out. Inhale, hands up to a T, looking at that left knee, pointing it towards your second or third toe. And then exhale and bend. Inhale and straighten. Exhale and bend. Inhale and straighten. Exhale and bend. Left elbow to your left leg. Shoulders gently rolling towards each other on the back. And then inhale if you want, right arm by the ear. Exhale, right arm by the hip. Inhale, right arm by the ear. Exhale, by the hip. Inhale, right arm by the ear. Press down to your feet. Hug into those muscles of the pelvic floor. Feel them engaged. Breathe. And then staying nice and steady, pressing down to the right foot as much as the left. Rise back up through the torso. Look over the left fingers. Hands to your hips. All 10 toes facing the long end of the mat. Knees a bit soft. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold about halfway down. Pausing here, stretch your spine nice and long again. Then exhale, gently let the back round, but only as much as feels good for you. Feel free to stay here, lowering the hands to lower to the legs. Or if it's comfortable for you, inhale, see if you can tilt your hips up higher. And then exhale, lower the hands to the legs or the floor, breathing wherever you're at. Nice, full, deep breaths. Pressing down through your feet, hugging into your hips. Feel the muscles of the pelvic floor nice and steady. And then when you're ready, hands to the hips, shoulders on the back. Inhale, nice long spine all the way up to standing. Soften your knees, rock the weight back to your heels, and turn out through the hips. So your knees turn out and your toes, your feet turn out only as much as your knees. Bring your hands someplace comfortable on your thighs and gently, with the knees tracking still towards second or third toe, just move a little side to side. You can adjust the stance, how wide or how narrow your feet are. And then from here, if you want to, you can draw circles on the wall back behind you with your tailbone. Breathe. come to center here. Let your hips sink as low as comfortable, leaning still a bit forward. Press your inner thighs back, stretch your spine long, and then only as much as feels good for you. Start to tilt yourself upright. You're not going to force yourself all the way upright. Different people have different hips. You're just going to come as upright that works for you. Bring your hands back into a cactus and feel the bottom tips of the shoulder blades on the back. You do want to make sure the low ribs are hugging in and up here. Breathe. And you can always move a bit. And then go ahead and come back up. Soften the knees. Wiggle the feet in towards each other. Shake out the legs. And turn and face the front of the mat. Hands together in front of the heart. Shoulders together on the back. Feel the breath moving through you. Exhale, release the hands to the sides. Inhale, arms come wide and reach up high. Exhale and fold. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Bend your knees, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale to a plank pose. If you want to lower the knees, you can. If you want to bend them, you can. Inhale, extend through the spine. Feel the bottom tips of the shoulder blades on the back. Exhale with control. Lower to your belly, however works for your shoulders. Point your toes, stretch back through the legs, press the hips down, lifting up through the shoulders and chest, maybe up to a higher cobra, maybe not. Exhale, lower back down. Prop yourself up on your elbows, elbows underneath the shoulders. Press down through the hips. If you have a block, I actually like to a lot of times just hold a block between my hands here. And then here with the legs fairly close together, hips pressing down so much that when you bend the right knee, the low back doesn't contract on you. And then inhale and straighten. Exhale, bend the left knee. Inhale and straighten. Exhale, right knee. Inhale and straighten. Exhale, left knee. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, right knee. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, left knee. Inhale and straighten. When you're ready, make your way back into a child's pose. Breathe. Nice, full, deep breath. Inhale up to all fours. Nice long spine. Exhale, downward facing dog. You can also stay in all fours. Inhale, the right leg lifts up high to the sky. Exhale, right knee towards the nose, maybe shoulders forward over the wrists. Inhale, right leg lifts up high to the sky. Exhale, right foot forward towards your hands, sliding and wiggle, scooting. Right elbow up to the right knee. Left foot, we're going to turn it so the heel comes down, the toes face the side. And then when you feel steady, left hand up to the left hip. Press down through the feet. Inhale, rising up to warrior two, lifting up through the torso. Exhale, go ahead and straighten that right leg, but keep the right knee pointing towards the second or third toe. Inhale, lean into the right hip. Exhale, and come back up. Inhale, lean into that right hip. Exhale, lower the right hand wherever is comfortable. Left hand to the left hip. Spin your belly, chest towards the left, towards the sky a little bit. And then think of this left arm just as extending out through the chest. So if your chest is turned a little down, then the hand isn't reaching straight up to the sky. It's just extending out of the chest. If your chest is more sideways, then the hand might be reaching more up to the sky. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Line the head and neck up with the rest of the spine. Then exhale, gently turn your gaze down. And inhale, gently turn the gaze up. Breathing here. Press down through your feet, rise up through the torso, right knee tracks towards second or third toe. Exhale, bend that right knee, and then lowering the hands carefully down to the ground and step the right foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts up high. Exhale, left knee to the nose, maybe coming towards plank. Inhale, left leg lifts up high. Exhale, left foot forward towards the hand, sliding, wiggle, scooting. Left elbow to your left knee. Right toes turn to the right, press down through your feet, right hand to your hip. Inhale, warrior two, left knee tracks towards second or third toe. Exhale, straightening that left leg. Inhale, leaning into the left hip. Exhale, come back up. Inhale, lean into the left hip. If you need to bend the left knee a little bit, that's fine. Left hand to the left leg, right hand to the hip. Spinning belly and chest to the sky, and then extending the right arm out of the shoulder socket as an extension of the chest. Breathing here. Exhale, go ahead and glancing down, head and neck in a nice line. And then inhale if you want to turn the head back up. Breathe. Press down through your feet. Inhale, rise up. Left knee tracks towards second or third toe. Go ahead and bend that knee. And then as you're ready, lowering the hands down. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, shoulders forward over the wrist. Plank pose. Exhaling here, engaging the core. If you want to lower the knees down, you can. Inhale, sternum stretches forward, shoulder blades on the back. And then exhale with control, lowering down. Press down through your hips, lengthen through your legs. Inhale, if you want to, up to cobra. Exhale, lower back down. Prop yourself up on your elbows. And again, you can grab a block if you like. Knees outer hip distance apart. Root down through those hips. Exhale, bend both knees. Inhale and straighten. Exhale and bend. Inhale and straighten. Exhale and bend. Breathing here. Nice full deep breath, Makrasana. And then exhale, go ahead and release. Rest your head on the hands. Gently rock the hips from side to side. Come back to center. Bring the arms along the sides. Press down through your hips. Bend your knees. Then inhale, float up through the shoulders. If you'd like to float up through the hands, breathe here. We're not going to grab the ankles today unless you really want to. You can always do what you really want to. But just holding here. And if you're feeling really stable here, I actually want you to bend and straighten the legs a little bit, as long as that doesn't hurt your low back. So you root the hips down strongly to keep the position, the stress from going into the low back. And then exhale, go ahead, release, rest your head on the hands. Okay, round number 3. If you have a block, and this is intense, just a heads up, you are going to grab the block, and you're going to take the block, and you're not going to hold it. So this is me holding the block. You're going to take the block between your palms without holding it, and you're just going to press your palms in toward each other. But you're going to do this back behind you, so you're not going to hold the block. You're going to press your palms into the block and lift up here. You're going to press strongly through the tailbone, the hips, and bend your knees. Breathing here. And then exhale, lower all the way back down. You might have noticed I was shaking. Gently rock the hips from side to side. And come back into a child's pose as you're ready. Breathe. And then we're going to come up to sitting, facing the long end of the mat. So again, if you like a little bit of height, if that feels more comfortable for you, really a couch pillow, a cushion, just almost anything works for that. Just something to sit on. And again, if you have a block, you might want to grab one. So from here, you're going to open the legs wide apart. Wide apart is less than 90 degrees, by the way. Wider than 90 degrees gets you into some other things. So if you can do full side splits, you're not trying to go that far. You're just trying to go to about 90 degrees. And then once you're here, we're going to keep the right leg over to the right side. We're going to fold the left leg in towards center. If this action of bending the left knee doesn't work for you, then keep it over to the side and play around with it there. You are going to try to have the knees and toes facing towards the sky. And again, a block can be nice here. It just gives you a little bit more height, or anything that would work. A stool, I saw someone tearing up books and taping them together to make blocks, which worked really well, but hurt the book lover in me. So again, you can improvise. But just here, hands on the ground. And what you're going to try to do is inhale and arch the back a little bit here, and exhale, tuck the tailbone under a little bit here. You can also hold on just to the right foot or left foot here. But doing those pelvic tilts again. And if you need to lift yourself up higher, sit on anything higher to do pelvic tilts. Again, sitting up on higher height will help you be able to do this movement. Eventually, you're going to end with the hips tilted just a little bit back, but you're not going to be arching the back here. So if I were just to tilt the hips back and stay upright, my back would be arched. Instead, you'll let your spine lean a little bit forward. So you'll come to the forward fold some. And you can stay here, or you can slide that block or walk your hands further out in front of you, breathing wherever you're at. And then keeping both hips on the ground, go ahead and see what it feels like to move your hands over to the right side. As you do this, try to make sure both sides of the waist stay lengthening instead of doing a side body stretch. Instead of contracting through that right side, try to keep it long. So think of your right armpit lengthening forward out of your hip. And then go ahead and come back up and second side. So if it works for you, right foot into center, left leg over to the left. And again, you could just hold on to the ankle. You could rest your hands on the knees like the beginning of class. And just doing, again, just small rounding and arching, little pelvic tilting. And making sure your hips are up high enough that you can come into this motion. You can also play with bending the left knee a little bit to see if that helps. But with the leg over to the side, that can get a little bit more complicated in the hip joint. And then coming to a position where you're in the cow position, your hips are tilting back, your tailbone sticking out, but instead of keeping the arch in the back, go ahead and letting yourself lean forward. You can stay here, or you can move further into the forward fold. Breathe. And again, walking maybe the hands over to the left, but keep stretching that outer left hip back and that left armpit forward, keeping the left side of the waistline nice and long. And when you stretch the armpit forward, make sure you're stretching the inner edge of your armpit too, or else your arm might start to rotate in. And coming back to center, bring the soles of your feet together, let the knees open apart. Baddha Konasana, pressing the feet in towards each other, holding on to the base of the shin, the top of the ankle, pulling up with your hands there, and seeing if you can feel the inner thighs flowing down. Almost as though you're going to tilt the hips back a little bit, like you're going to stick the tailbone out a little bit, but then you're going to exhale and draw the low ribs back too, so you're sitting up nice and tall. If you have a block or something to squeeze between the feet, this can be a nice variation to skinniest width, unless you're used to doing this. Squeeze the block with your feet and breathe here. Okay, go ahead and release. Coming back to facing the narrow end of the mat. Feel free to slide that blanket with you to stay on height. So always, always, always feel free to stay on height. And again, if you have a block, maybe have a block today, and actually have your feet a little bit wider apart so you can have the block in between the feet. Knees and toes point up to the sky. Maybe bend the knees enough that you can tilt the hips, or definitely bend the knees enough you can tilt the hips. But if you're sitting on height, you might need not to bend the knees so much, but making sure you can tilt the hips. And then from here, again, tilting the hips so your tailbone sticks back a little bit, and coming into the forward fold. And you can just walk the block forward if you're using it. If you're not using the block, hands on floor. This is just a little bit more challenging. Breathe. Inhale, come back upright. Exhale, as you're ready, ease your way onto your back. Hug the knees into the chest, coming into a ball, gently rocking. And then letting go the knees, draw circles on the ceiling with the knees in one direction. And then draw circles on the ceiling with the knees in the other direction, massaging out the hips and the low back. With your knees deeply bent, lower the feet to the ground, feet about outer hip distance apart. Try to feel your toes facing forward and press down for the feet. Bring your arms along the sides, palms can face down. Inhale, the shoulders move up towards the ears a little bit. Exhale, wiggle the shoulder blades towards each other on the back. With your chin in neutral, press the back of the head and the shoulders down. And then inhale, just a light lift up through the chest here. So feel the chest lifting up away from the ground. With your next inhale, lift the hips up just an inch or two. And then exhale and lower them back down. Inhale, the hips lift up, the chest lifts up, they stretch away from each other. Exhale and lower back down. You can keep on doing that. If you do have a block, you can take a block the long way between your ankles, squeeze the block. And again, inhale here, lifting up, and exhale and lower back down. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower, slowly going higher if you like. Inhale and lift. And exhale, lower. And I'm not tilting the hips under nor letting them sag back. I'm keeping the hips just centered and just lifting them up and stretching the hips and the chest away from each other as I exhale and lower back down. And then inhale, lift up, hold. If you like to, with the hands, you can grab the outer edges of your mat. Act like you're pulling the mat apart. Wiggle the shoulders underneath you more. And again, the hips stretch towards your feet. Your chest stretches towards the head. And you breathe here, bridge pose. And then exhale, lower the hips back down. If you're using the block, you can remove it. Take your hands to the tops of the thighs. Press the tops of the thighs away from you. Gently swaying the knees from side to side. Come back to center. Hug the knees into the chest, coming into a ball, gently rocking. And then coming to center here, lower the feet to the ground, feet outer mat distance width apart. Stretching long through the arms. When you're ready, exhale the knees over to the right side. Inhale up to center. Exhale the knees to the left. Inhale up to center. Exhale to the right. Inhale up to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale up to center. Exhale the knees to the right. With the knees over on the right side, if you'd like to, the right foot can come on top of the left knee. Breathing here. And then go ahead and release. And then inhale, knees up to center. Exhale, knees over to the left side. Left foot on top of the right knee. Breathing here. Nice full deep breaths. And then exhale, go ahead and release. As you're ready, hug the knees into the chest, coming into a ball, gently rocking. If you want to, you could open the knees wider apart, stretch the spine long, rocking. And then flip your feet up towards the ceiling, holding on to the back of your knees, the lower legs, or your feet. Pulling down with your arms, imagining the knees going to the floor on either side of the torso. As you press back up a bit with the feet. Happy baby pose. When you feel ready, coming back to center, full body stretch. Stretch the arms up above the head, legs along the floor, lengthen everything out. And then coming into Shavasana as you're ready. Arms by the sides, legs opening wider apart than the hips. For a moment, have your knees face up to the sky. Press down through the legs, press down through your hips. And yet let your low ribs settle and make sure your tailbone is lengthening towards your feet. And then relaxing through the legs here. If leg straight does not work for you, feel free to bend the knees and have the feet on the ground, or any other position that your spine is fairly neutral and you're comfortable in. Let your eyes be soft or closed and come back to your breath. With every exhale, release. Let any muscles that feel like they're gripping or grasping soften into the earth. Let your bones feel heavy. Let your skin feel soft. And whenever you're as relaxed as you're going to get, let go of the breath and just rest. Stay here as long as you would like. When you are ready to leave Shavasana, you'll move very slowly, usually by wiggling fingers and toes, coming back to the breath. Stretching small stretches, arms, legs. The knees will come into the chest, coming into a ball, gently rocking. Eventually coming all the way over onto your side, traditionally right, pausing on the side, letting your chest turn towards the ground, keeping that sensation of heaviness, that sensation of weightiness, and then with as little effort as possible, eyes staying soft or closed, making your way to sitting. And again, stay in Shavasana as long as you want. I will end this session with an Om.